good. Happy Friday, Mother's Day weekend Eve edition of Kiwanis Connects. I'm Aaron Phillips. I'm here in the studio with John JPEG Styles. We're holding down in the fort, a little windy here in Vegas, but joining me as always is my queen mother, Doc Val. How are you, my love?
Aloha, my friend. Oh, I'm doing really well because I'm in the house with my mom. And so you
Oh,
get
there
to
you
see
go.
a
Hi,
little
Mom.
Then John says,
Yes.
hi, Mom.
Well, happy Mother's Day, Mom, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, whether you're dad who's a mom or mom who is a mom, anybody that's a mother. Happy Mother's Day. I'll just let the rest of that finish out by itself. Happy Mother's Day to you all out there. Thank you for watching. By the way, if you are, what's that?
Did you know that Andy was the original Mr. Mom? I'll tell you a little bit about that after you set us up.
Ooh, can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us on Facebook. Of course, if you're watching us not only on the Kiwanis Connects page, but you also can watch us on the WWDBTV Las Vegas Facebook page. It's a new Facebook page. Of course, same channels on YouTube, Kiwanis Connects, WWDBTV. And of course, in a couple of days, you can always go up to Roku. And if you don't have Roku, you really should, if for no other reason, just so you can watch Val and I every week and get all the best information you can about Kiwanis International and our district, Calneva. But of course, the plethora of show options that are available on the network. And of course, join us in conversation live by dialing 702-992-3207, 702-992-3207. Today's show is all about history. And speaking of history, now you have me intrigued to find out how Andy was the original Mr. Mom.
Absolutely. Well, our son was born in 1981. And it's one of those things that Andy was down in San Diego. He was a stay-at-home dad. And he was out on the playground, and his sister had bought him for Father's Day a Mr. Mom t-shirt. And so
the movie Mr. Mom?
The movie Mr. Mom t-shirt.
Wow.
And so he was
Michael
out in the
Keaton.
playground. Yep.
Wow.
And he was actually, they actually wrote a story about him and have his picture, on like page 2 of the San Diego newspaper. And yeah, Andy was quintessential Mr. Mom. I mean, he would go on rides in the middle of the night to make sure that Brent would be able to go to sleep. He'd sleep on the floor in his room.
Yep.
Ride the bus so that Brent could run around on the articulated bus. I mean, wow, he put some moms to shame, I'm telling you.
Well, it's all right. And now look what he's turned out to be today, right? All is good. Nothing wrong with being a Mr. Mom. Look, he got you as his wife, it's great, so it's all's good. Nothing wrong with being a Mr. Mom.
Fabulous. Oh, that's right. Nothing. That's compliment.
Today's show, we're going to talk about history and some other good stuff here about Kiwanis. And I got to tell you, you all see my laptop, which I rarely ever bring into a show. Well, my printer at home, instead of waiting till I move to buy a new one when I get there, said, no, we're going to screw you up right now and we're going to stop working. So I think it needs a new printer head because I get the paper, everything connects, but the paper comes out blank. So instead of having things printed off like I normally do, I have so many tabs open on my computer right now for notes and stuff to have available. But fear not, my friends. Bad dad jokes are always on paper. And John promised us an intro to that segment. He has not shown it to me, so we will all see it for the first time ever, the new intro for bad dad jokes later on today. So I hope Andy will. No, not now. We got time yet. I'm beefing them up. I'm getting them ready. Okay. So, but anyway, so thank you all for joining us. So we're going to talk a lot about history for Kiwanis.
I got to tell you, you're going to love it. I got a sneak peek.
You want to say, no, I haven't even gotten a sneak peek, and it's the segment that you enjoy. He has sworn to share it with the world at the same time. So what can I tell you? From what he has shared with me, if you watched last week's show for bad dad jokes throughout, he said there might be a little hint in there as to what the intro may be involved. Of course, that could be anything knowing John. So
that's right. Bad dad jokes.
Bad dad jokes. Oh my God. All right. John, did you check your email from Miss Val at 7:24 this morning with an outline of some segment ideas, sir? This way you can kind of stay in step with us. You know, we were on that Zoom call at 7 a.m. So we didn't really we didn't check our emails. So that's unfortunately, okay. John's going to put on your other pewter.
No worries. You know,
pulling that up here. So anyway,
I was delirious because I was busy traveling up here last night, or down here. I'm in San Diego, and got the last flight out of Monterey. And so I want to thank all the United Airlines people. They really did a great job. It was so windy flying down here. And so it was amazing. And I had a couple of phenomenal conversations with people. And I thought, how timely is this show? Because there were two of the people that I got to sit next to on my flights knew nothing about Kiwanis. But of course, you know, I'm in my Kiwanis gear. And they were like, you know, I see signs periodically in town. One of the people said I had come up for good old days in Pacific Grove, and it said that it was sponsored by Kiwanis, and it's like, what's a Kiwanis? And I'm like, well, it's not an airline. So
hold on to your
I went exactly, and I said, how much of this flight do you want to talk to me? Because I could tell you tons.
That's right.
And so realizing, you know, a little bit of history, because we have a lot of viewers that don't know about Kiwanis, but they love you, so they dial in.
Me?
Oh yeah. When I look at, you know, some of the comments, I'm not sure that they even know I'm on the show, and that's okay.
Listen, truth be told, I have a phantom page, and I'm writing that to myself just for my own ego. So,
love it.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah, you know, but it's that whole history of Kiwanis is, I think, where we start, but not focus too long on it, because we're doing so many amazing things around the world right now that I think our forefathers, and it was, you know, 5 fathers, hadn't even imagined would lead to where we are right now.
Absolutely. So. Maritza does bring up too, by the way, it's Mexican Mother's Day today.
Very cool.
Now, I heard that yesterday at the school I work at. I just want to know what the difference is between.
Feliz de Madres.
Mamacita.
Oh, stop it.
Feliz de Madres. That's awesome. Well, it's probably related to the church, don't you think?
You know what? I wouldn't even want to venture a guess, because I would probably be way wrong. So
we can make it up.
In both nationality and religion.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. So Maritza, if you can explain the difference, that would be great to have. Yeah, you know, it's just one of those things, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. All right. So shall we get started with some of our topics that we want to lay out here?
Oh, absolutely.
Who's
you know,
Order of the Bobs what is that?
The Royal Order of the Bobs. It was a bunch of businessmen that they had a young man that was sleeping behind their office. He was homeless. He's about 12 years old. And they came together to figure out how to take care of him, because their hearts just said that's what they needed to do. And they put him through medical school and all different kinds of things. And he gave back. It was the Order of the Bobs. That started Kiwanis.
Love it. I love it. And the history, and we go back to, according to some standards, I mean, it was founded internationally in 1915, but I believe the first club was 1914, if memory serves. Is that correct in the history timeline?
That would be correct in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit Rock City. See, Kiss knew what they were doing.
Yeah, you know, and our first club that was out in California, Nevada, and Hawaii was actually in Oakland.
Was it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did not know that. So I do have a trivia question for you, though. Although we kind of just gave it away. What is the oldest club in Kiwanis? And the question there then would be, is it still active?
Very much so. And they've been hosting a bunch. It's not the same club. It's an amalgamation that's changed over, 109 years. But they actually hosted our 100th year anniversary in 2015, and people came from all over the world to be a part of that celebration. And so every February, January and February, we're celebrating for Founders Time, because it's so important, to keep the history alive and know why we do what we do.
Sure, for sure. So you mentioned the Bob. Obviously, that's what it was under. But I wonder how many people actually know that Bob is an acronym, and that very first club was called the Supreme Lodge Benevolent Order Brothers, and that's where the Bob comes from. For those who are not aware, and then a year later, it was changed to the Kiwanis Club of Detroit when that was founded. So, yeah, it's just. You
and
hear
you notice how they put the two O's together so that it wasn't another acronym. Just saying.
That's no, that would not be good.
That wouldn't have been good.
Drop the of, for sure, that would be good. Hey, where do you belong? Oh, I'm a brother boob. Huh? What? Anyway.
Yes, not that doesn't go well in history.
How about this one? What is the largest Kiwanis club in the world? Do you know?
I think it's in Birmingham, Alabama. If anybody's watching, you might be able to correct me.
No, you got it. Kiwanis Club of Birmingham, according to what Abraham Lincoln has written here on the internet. The Kiwanis Club of Birmingham is the largest Kiwanis club in the world and one of the oldest civic service organizations in existence because of its size, where it is. Absolutely. Good job. I didn't even know that. God bless you. You know that. That's cool.
They actually have meetings where 300 people will show up for lunch. They do it in a ballroom, and they have a big screen up in the ballroom. Mm-hmm. But it is the place to be. Yeah.
Wow.
When they have their Kiwanis meetings.
John has a comment here. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I have a question.
World.
I have a question.
Okay, question.
And I may have missed this. You may have already told. What does the word Kiwanis mean? Where did that come from?
I'll Val, if you would, please.
Well, it's there's a lot of different folklore about it, but it is a Native American term, means to build and to make big noise. And I was up in Upper Michigan with Bob Larson, another Bob, and I actually was working on a literacy project with the Kiwanis tribe. And there are moments when I'm thinking that Kiwanis came from the Kiwanis tribe's language.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the American Indian word is nunk, N-U-N-C, Kiwanis, K-E-E-W-A-N-I-S. And as you said correctly, we trade, or now it got changed in 1920 to the we build that we know as today's motto. But it's funny because I was trying to track down the origin of the name, and you had said, and I got it. I want to try to quickly find it as far as the Indian tribe. What was the name? Kiwanis was coined from the I'm going to spell it because I know I'm going to botch it up. O-J-I-B-W-E, however that's pronounced, language express. So it was that language derived from the word Gilwanazi, meaning to fool around. I don't know why they changed that. Which is, so there's a trace of this going through all these different languages and Native American tribes down to where we've got it down to what we know today. And it became the original motto of Kiwanis. And then in 2005, we chose a new motto, but I still think we build is still just as knowledgeable as the one that most of us know. And that is serving the children of the world is our current motto. John, your hand was raised?
Yeah, but I changed my mind.
Okay, never mind. Thanks for
I decided, nah, not now.
Not now? You wait for joke time? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now I know. So if nothing else, I mean, the organization's been around a long time, but just look at the derivation of where our name comes from, and it's been around even longer than the organization, itself has been founded.
Absolutely. Kiwanis are always known to take the best parts of what's out there, put it together, and make something even better.
Sure.
And so this makes sense to me that we would look at words like we have fun. It's part of our motto. Kiwanians around the world, we have fun when we get together. Being together is probably one of the best parts of my Kiwanis life. I call it my Kiwanis family. And that's kind of where we started, where the Benevolent Order of Bobs, they built their second family to take care of their community members. How much better
Absolutely.
can that be?
Well, that's the premise of what we carry on today, where not only did it start in Detroit by Alan Brown and Joseph Prance, but now we're international. That's why it's Kiwanis International. And because of everything that's going on, there is so many far-reaching projects around the world. And let's touch on a couple of them.
Okay. So, one of the things that we look at is we've done global projects, but most of Kiwanis projects are about the individual communities. So our current motto talks about we serve our individual communities and empower our children, one child in one community at a time. So most people, when they join Kiwanis, don't even realize that we're in 84 nations and territories because they're so focused in on the needs that are local to them.
Right.
But we have been instrumental over the past decades in changing the world for the better. And I'm not sure, do you remember the IDD or iodine deficiency project?
Iodine deficiency disorder. When I got into Kiwanis, that was the big project at the time. Iodine deficiency disorder over in third world countries. Understanding how important that is to our bodies. They were deficient, the thyroid, right? The big goiters. Off the neck. Oh my goodness. Yes, I do. Oh yeah.
And that was Kiwanis. That was Kiwanis coming together and making sure that iodine was added into the salt in different places around the world, that we weren't poisoning their salt, but we were eliminating mental retardation in littles. And we were adding in a way for people to process body fats so that they didn't have strokes and heart attacks.
Right.
That's pretty amazing. And if it wasn't for Kiwanis, we would still be at that level where people would be dying from those kinds of diseases and mental defects for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. When you consider the medical steps that our world has taken over so many generations, the fact that something as simple as iodine and what it does to the body when it's not there, and to be able to provide that support for third world countries with that, it's amazing the work that is done across the board. We're going to get ready for our first break, and I'm going to stall here for a moment only to make sure that John read your email so he sees what commercial. I'm watching him behind the desk in his wheelie chair going from one place to the other, as I just said that, as we get ready for our first commercial break. So we're going to be flooding this today with all sorts of Kiwanis commercials and information. Are you ready, John? Have I stalled long enough?
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah,
So,
let's do this.
all right. So we're going to start. When we come back, we got more to talk about for Kiwanis history. And while you're watching,
Get to the bad joke.
I know you do. You just want to run the intro.
First time
This
in our history that I've been looking forward to the bad
is Andy with you, Val?
Huh? Is Andy
Is it-
with me? No, Andy's at home watching and laughing at this
Good.
time.
I hope so.
Better tell to pay attention by the end of the
That's
show.
right. All right. You're watching. Here we go. Hey, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space. Chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
The Kiwanis Club of Folsom Lake is a group of fun, passionate people from all different backgrounds and interests who are dedicated about making our community a better place for children. We have 3 fundraising events throughout the year which allow us to support an after-school program for disadvantaged kids, high school scholarships, sponsors Key Club in high schools, and supports the Kiwanis Family House, which builds a supportive, healing community around families who are impacted by medical emergencies. Come check us out by visiting our website, www.folsomlakekiwanis.org. I just wish sometimes the camera was on during a commercial break. Number one, our mouths would be taped shut knowing the cameras would still be on. But the stuff that goes on back on this side during a break, getting the commercials ordered, and he doesn't know where to find them. It's like working with. It's like it's like driving in a car with Stevie Wonder driving. You just don't know. You know
Hopefully it's a self-driving car.
Yeah. You know what? If John could leave right now and leave this on, he'd leave. He'd leave it as a self-driving car. The problem is I wouldn't know how to end the feed. That's the problem.
You just kind of unplug it.
That's all. I'll just unplug everything. Anyway, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. As always, we're having some fun here at ourselves, if nothing else, because if we can't laugh at ourselves, who else can we laugh at except for maybe John? I'm sure you do. All right, let's get back to it. By the way, we were going to run the generic one, but because we don't run it as much, the way John's inventory of videos, they kind of fall.
Everybody else's.
He's got. So we ran Folsom Lake, number one, because they don't get enough love versus all the other commercials we've done. So we ran, but that actually is the generic commercial we put together with the edit of their club at the end. So listen, John,
Hi, John Benner.
Hi, Val and Art. What is that? Did his keyboard stop working? What is that? Anyway. So I do want to mention that we are still those commercials still available. Let's face it. Part of those commercials is for your branding, and quite frankly, the donations keep this show on the air, as well as it being a partial fundraiser for the Roast Float Kiwanis Club or Kiwanis Club Roast Float. You know, that flowery thing that we see on TV on New Year's Day. So email me, kiwanisconnectsinfo@gmail.com. Email me. I'll get you the information. It's easy. It's quick. It's a great way to brand your club. And also for business owners within Kiwanis clubs can get a commercial done about their business at the same Kiwanis rates, because I'm a nice guy that way. That's why.
Plus, absolutely phenomenal.
Plus Val said it was okay. I could do that. So I wouldn't do that without her say so. Anyway. All right. So let's get back to it. So we had IDD. That was a major worldwide project. What other ones did we have? We had worldwide that have kind of fallen out of focus because we were successful at it.
The Project Eliminate, so eliminating maternal neonatal tetanus. I was late to the game in Kiwanis, so I didn't participate very much in IDD, but I was fully involved in the elimination of maternal neonatal tetanus. And for most people who don't understand, tetanus is not something that can be completely eradicated because it exists in the dirt. It is a spore. And so depending on your birthing practices and all those kind of things, you can get tetanus. You can get tetanus by going out and working on your fence.
Sure.
That's why we get our Tdap shots and vaccinations. And I know I just said the V word, but your tetanus vaccination keeps you from having to deal with lockjaw. And for littles, if the mother has tetanus and a little is born, oftentimes they'll be born with that tetanus in their body and they won't live past 28 days. And it is the most excruciating sensory depriving disease that anybody can go through. The mom can't even touch the baby because their skin is so soft and sensitive. And so in the very beginning, when we were trying to eradicate that, we went with the Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation gave us $110 million. And we needed to match that over a 5-year period of time. And there are some amazing clubs around the world that help bring that together. So when we started into the project, there were 59 countries that still were suffering through high mortality rates from tetanus. And yes, it's every 10 years. And so for most women out in the world, if they get just this one series of shots, that's during their whole birthing time. It'll cover them. And so it takes care of them. But we started with 59. We're now down to 12. And there are a couple on that 12 list that are in the verification process. So think about it. Moms don't have to have 4 and 5 babies in order to have one child that lives long enough to be an adult.
Right. The advances that Kiwanis. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It truly does. It advances the Kiwanis, the spirit. It changes how populations work. Because if you think about if someone's having a child every single year, And what they're doing is trying to keep those children alive. It's spending 4 or 5 hours getting water, spending 4 or 5 hours keeping clean, keeping 4 or 5 hours feeding. Your day's done. You can't go to work.
Sure.
And
Sure.
one of the things that we've been able to do is help women change the trajectory of their lives in other countries.
Absolutely. And it's a great segue because, and I really want to encourage our viewers right now to put their thoughts into the chat room. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, you also can still put your comments in the chat room on YouTube. They do come into our studio and we're able to see those. Call in with your thoughts to my question, 702-992-3207. I don't know if the phone's working, but John says he paid the bill, so let's hope so. But be that as it may, here's my question, Val. It's one that I think we all kind of touch on. Where would the world be without Kiwanis? And just in the IDD project and what you just shared about the Project Eliminate, we know where the world would be, but let's talk about big scope. If we were to look at a world, an alternate universe, Earth 2, and there's no Kiwanis, what are some of the differences that we would see, for crying out loud?
Well, do you have the family house?
We do have the
commercial?
Kiwanis Family House commercial. Would you like to run that?
Yeah. Why don't we just shed some light?
Okay. So are you ready? Hit it. At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support. Very powerful.
That's just one example. You know, when you talk about if Kiwanis didn't exist, that home would not exist. People who come in to Sacramento, which is the capital of California, for those of you who don't have a globe in front of you, where it's very expensive. So think about if your child falls off the fence and breaks 2 or 3 of their vertebrae and they stop breathing, they get life flighted in. You don't get on the helicopter with them. All you do is pick up everything that's on your counter, throw it in the car, and chase your way to the nearest family pediatric trauma center, which is UC Davis. And most times before the Kiwanis Family House, people would be found sleeping in their cars in the parking lot at the hospital. Mm-hmm. And if the doors were locked at a certain time, they wouldn't be able to use the restrooms or anything like that. And then they would save up for one night at a hotel so that they could clean up and then go back to their car. Mm-hmm. And the Kiwanis Family House has made the difference for thousands of families to be healthy and supportive, because kids that are supported and surrounded by their loved ones thrive. Those that feel like they are abandoned because their family couldn't get to them pass.
No, absolutely. And this is not on the format for today, but during that commercial, we sometimes get involved in projects that do hit home personally for our Kiwanians. Okay. Mm-hmm. And one of them is stroke awareness. And good friends Rocky and Derek and John Brummer, they are actually at a conference right now in San Jose it's a stroke conference. And at their request, it's urgent. They were at convention last year and all of that. So if I can indulge you, would it be okay if we run that as another commercial for something or another story of what we support as Kiwanis? Can we do that?
And what I want to do is I want to tie it together.
Okay, please.
These 3 gentlemen do not orbit in the same circles in the world. The Kiwanis brought them together And it has led to what you're going to show in the commercial, which I think is the gift of Kiwanis.
Right on. Here you go. Some estimates say that someone in the United States has a stroke every 40 seconds. Rocky, please share with us your experience.
Aaron, as we all think we are invincible, after playing baseball for 12 years and never missing a game, I had a stroke while I was umpiring. It put a new perspective on life for me. No more golf, bowling, dancing, or most importantly, playing catch with my grandchildren. Please listen to your own body warnings. Pay attention and watch for your family and your friends. Watch for those warning signs. You are not invincible.
Derek, what are some of the symptoms and signs we should be aware of?
The simple rules to remember: the be fast rule. Balance, beware of loss of balance. Eyes, check for vision loss. Face, check if one arm is weak or numb. Speech, listen for slurred speech. Time, call 911 immediately if there's treatment available if it's within 3 hours.
John, what are some of the resources that folks have available for them?
There are several stroke support groups available to stroke survivors and their caregivers. Many of the stroke support groups you can attend can be accessed on your computer via Zoom. The stroke groups we support are located at the bottom of the screen.
This message was proudly brought to you by the following: the Kiwanis Club of Laguna Elk Grove, the Kiwanis Club of Oakland, and the Kiwanis Club of Palo Alto. That was, I have to say on a side note, that's the first time I've ever coordinated a commercial to be done in 4 different locations, obviously via Zoom, and want to thank the studio here for helping us put that all together. And I came across, I'm very pleased with the way that came across for these 3 gentlemen and for the families and anybody that has had somebody close to them suffer a stroke to any degree. And you could see with the 3 of those gentlemen, their suffering of a stroke was on 3 different levels. And I think some of the differences were very obvious in the commercial. But you're right. It does kind of tie everything together with what Kiwanis supports to help get messages out too.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we're talking just about some of the North American projects, but there are some projects that are going on in the Philippines where they're putting together libraries across the Philippines Luzon district. And so our Kiwanis Literacy Club Foundation has been able to get books to the these libraries so that kiddos and adults who have been devastated by floods and tornadoes and all kinds of things to now be able to get back into the literacy game. And the Kiwanis Club of Northern California's Literacy Club sent 1,000 audiobooks because there are a number of children that have been affected by a parasite in their eyes. And so they need to listen to books. And they don't have the bandwidth to actually download books like many of us do. Like I'm an Audible addict. I've constantly got something going on and I'm constantly listening. And so to be able to provide those books to them made a difference. So here in Little Antioch, we've been able to help thousands of kids in the Philippines, and none of us have ever gotten on a plane.
Yep.
To see each other.
You know, Kiwanis stretches beyond, like you just kind of hinted, beyond just face-to-face relationships, because when you go to a convention, even a district convention, you know names of people and people get to know you, and you really only at times have an opportunity to see a fellow Kiwanian in person, a certain number, but then you go to a Kiwanis and all of a sudden 3,000 people become your closest family. And then you Absolutely. Go to Kiwanis International Convention, right, coming up in Denver, hint, hint, where everybody better get to. And all of a sudden, the world becomes your family, whether you know them or not. But that K on your shirt, like you see behind me here on the walls, that just connects everybody. And that's what makes Kiwanis so unique, because no matter what, you got family somewhere. And I'm relying on Gary Graham and Jamie, speaking of Kiwanis family, and I know they watch pretty much every week. When I moved to Virginia Beach, that's part of the Capital District. I know nobody there. But Gary, originating from that district, has assured me that he will point me in the right direction to be involved. And that's great, because otherwise I wouldn't know where to begin. And so,
Oh, absolutely.
right? I mean, Kiwanis is family.
Mm-hmm. You know, we've had Kiwanians in Pennsylvania say, I'm headed to Hawaii. I want to actually go to a Kiwanis meeting, and I want to take stuff and help out in Maui.
Mhm.
Val, who do you know? And I've been able to say, hey, in the directory, here are the 2 contacts that will get you put in the right direction. And they've gone and done service projects in Maui over the past couple months. And they've said that's the best part of their vacation. And so I know that when it's time for us to go to Manila for our international convention, I'm going to go a little bit early, not so that I can see the country, but so that I can serve side by side with people that I've only seen on Facebook, or people that, you know, I've seen on the little squares for the Zooms. So,
And normally we have some of the Kiwanis clubs in the Philippines. Our dear friend Grace out in South Africa, Lieutenant Governor, they're usually jumping in and out of the chat room. So these clubs do follow the Kiwanis Connects family. And that's really cool that we're really able to connect the world. And that is a tremendous opportunity for not only for us, but to get to know some of these other clubs. And I don't know what the time difference is, but boy, and we had Grace on via video link a few months back with John Crawford. But man, I would love to have some of these folks on from the Philippines and some of these other clubs around the world to talk about their experience in Kiwanis and what some of their favorite service projects are, which, by the way, I put that question in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. Put what your favorite service project has been, or even for that matter, your favorite fundraising project that helps service your service projects and scholarships for sponsored youth. I still call them sponsored youth. But we'd love to know. And if you want to call in and be brave enough to do that, 702-992-3207. John Brummer, who is, as I mentioned earlier, is in a conference in San Jose, is desperately trying to call in, but his phone's not connecting, which means he's wherever he is probably not getting a good signal. So I suggested he step outside of the building for a minute or two, and hopefully that will help.
I would love to hear John's voice today.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to hear what he's got to add to that in general, because he's one of those guys. When I came up to Reno last year, I knew him from the show. He's always in the chat room. You know, John here, and him, John, we always had fun getting. And the first time he saw me walk through, he recognized me. And man, when we realized who it was, and probably that's him right now, we hugged like we were brothers. You know, and that was the phone is ringing. So I'm guessing he probably stepped, at least I'm guessing that's him. John is checking, but that is what's so cool. No matter where or what, your family. So
Absolutely.
sounds like we have him here as soon as John flips the switch on us there. Mr. Brummer, is that you, sir?
It's live in person from San Jose.
It works.
I found my way.
You're on your way.
I found my way to San Jose.
You're on your way, but the question is, do you know the way to San Jose? Oh, did he? Oh, it must have been the. I can't. John. I love John Brummer so much. I don't pay attention. What's up, John? Yeah, we hear you.
So Derek and I went to a stroke conference, and we showed the commercial. The doctors were so impressed.
Excellent.
That's so cool.
Well, if they want copies of it, it'll cost them $1 million so they can show it. That's right, $1 million. But yeah, if they're interested in getting a copy of that, we can make arrangements for a small donation to the show. Absolutely.
And Derek and I sold autographs.
You sold autographs. Well, I hope you didn't sign a Myron Phillips.
No. Yeah, yes, I did.
Well,
hopefully you got some new Kiwanis friends out of it too.
Hi, Val. Nice to see you.
John.
So, you know, the stroke commercial is getting a lot of positive vibes.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear that people are getting the message, hopefully.
And we thank you and John for all the work you did to help us.
Well, we do it for. That's why we don't get paid.
Okay.
But no. But seriously, that for John and I on this side of production, it's a labor of love. I mean, it's our mission,
Okay.
not just because we're Kiwanians, but because that's the mission John has always had for the studio. John and I have worked together for so long. He and I are on the same page, helping where we can and to do what we can do. And it's a labor of love, really is for us. All these commercials that we put together. So I'm just glad that we were able to come up with an idea, since we were all spread out between California and me here in Vegas, that really came across very well. And I'm glad it's getting a lot of response.
So I would suggest any Kiwanis club do a commercial. It's worth it.
Thank you, my friend. I greatly appreciate the endorsement. John. Listen, go back and go learn some stuff, and you'll come back on down the line.
Hey, John.
The conference is over. We're heading home now.
Oh, okay. John, hold on, John. My John wants to say something.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Okay.
God, just keep going.
All right. So I think that they're doing.
Okay, John.
I can't hear you, John.
Okay. You say you can or cannot?
I cannot.
Okay. So
then, never mind.
Now I do. I know. Now I do.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, give him hell, John.
All right, John, we're gonna let you go. Your signal is getting weak on us, but as always, we love you.
Okay.
Thank you for dropping the note, and we'll connect.
Okay. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, brother.
Hi, John.
During that, Leanne Westfall answered my question. She says, a big part of my past, hubby and I made vacation plans, like you were talking about, Val, that included great visits to Kiwanis Club. Her favorite was in Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, Canada. Hope I said that right. If not, I'm from Jersey. What do I know? There you go. Okay. Okanagan.
I went on a cruise with my family. Oh, Canada.
Right.
Yeah, I went on a cruise with my family. It was 15 days to the Hawaiian Islands, and my mom, my grandmother, and I are all Kiwanians. And so by the time we got to Maui in 2016, we decided we were done doing tour bus, beep, beep, honk, honk. But half an hour after we got off our cruise ship was the beginning of the Kiwanis Club of Maui's lunch meeting. And so we did an interclub in Maui right off the cruise ship, had lunch with them and hung out, and then went back to the cruise ship. And it was so much fun.
That is cool. Let's make one last transition before we're almost at 15 minutes left in the show. Besides the global work, let's talk about something that's near and dear to everybody. We kind of touched on it before, and we're going to cue this up, is the Rose Float.
Yes.
You want to run the commercial first, and then we'll talk about it?
That sounds good, because, if you haven't seen this Rose Float infomercial, you've missed out.
There you go. Hit it. Hit it. Thanks to the efforts of the Cal Neva District of Kiwanis, there's been a Kiwanis presence in the Rose Bowl Parade for more than half of the New Year's Day Parade since 1921. In the past, our efforts were funded through club sponsorships, outside sponsorships, by the generous donations from Kiwanis members or club foundations sponsoring riders on the Kiwanis Float itself. The District Rose Float Committee handles fundraising, and the Kiwanis Rose Float Club secures and organizes the volunteers. When Kiwanis International wanted to sponsor a large portion of our float, momentum from our clubs was lost due to any fundraising. The time has come to have our clubs increase their involvement in the fundraising efforts. But the Rose Float Kiwanis buttons. All right, we'll get back to it. Something happened there.
I love technology.
Oh, technology is our friend. Most days, some days. But let's just, instead of having to run the rest of it, one of the things that when we're talking about the Rose Float is it truly is a global project. Over, was it 72 or 62 million people saw the Rose Parade last year? Mm-hmm. And most people don't realize that behind the scenes, Kiwanians come together and Keith Clubbers come together to build that float. And so we've had people from Ohio and Pennsylvania, and we have one guy from Germany, and that just loves to come out and just help work on floats. So we don't just work on the Kiwanis International float. We work on all the other floats that are in the barn, so that we had 8 award winners
Right.
that Kiwanians and Key Clubbers touched this past year. And ours was an award winner, which makes, how it gives us all a sense of common pride in Kiwanis. It's just like, it gives me goosebumps.
No, absolutely. While we're wrapping that, John, do you have the or is it Shasta Dam commercial?
No.
For Kiwanis? You don't have that one handy on the list?
No.
Okay, we'll pull that for next week. It's not loaded in the can for us to run, but we'll get it shown. It's the float is so cool because, like you said, 62 million people get to watch it. We as Kiwanians, we're proud. I don't know about anybody else, but out here it's on tape delay. So I fast forward it because it seems like we're always towards the end of the parade all the time, but that's okay. Last seen, first remembered is the way I look at it. And all I really want to see is our Kiwanis float, right? I mean, that's all that matters in the parade.
I'll call Hoda, Copy, and Al. I always call them my friends because when I watch the parade, they always give us a little bit of extra time, and I think I think it's because Craig Melvin was a Key Clubber.
Oh,
yes, okay. He was internationally involved. He was a lieutenant governor, and so there's a little bit of an affinity. Sorry, y'all, but Kiwanis, Kiwanis has some major alumni around the world, and so Key Club just celebrated their 100th birthday, and Craig was the host of a major Key Club alumni event in New York, getting Key Club involved and asking alumni to now join Kiwanis because Key Club is probably one of the best things that Kiwanis does, and they've been cutting edge because Kiwanis, most people still think of us, in some dark corners of the world that we're an all-male organization, that everybody looks the same and they're all businessmen and all of that. And when you now truly see Kiwanians, you see you see me, you see so many phenomenal faces where the common ground isn't politics or religion. The common ground is doing service in the local communities. It's like, it's what makes me happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, it's just, Kiwanis is for everybody. If you have a heart and you want to help support your community, that's why it's a fit for everybody. Not that everybody needs to do everything in a club, but there's enough variety within a club that they can have interest in and participate and support the club. But I do want to preface being part of Kiwanis, and I always say this because I don't want people to get this wrong. People join Kiwanis for the wrong reasons. And by that, I mean business first, then volunteerism. The reality is that you join Kiwanis for volunteerism, fellowship, supporting others, and then born out of the natural relationships that you have with your fellow Kiwanians. That's when the business kicks in. So anybody watching right now, if you'd rather worry about the business and volunteer, and I'm going to say it, go to Rotary. They just write all the checks. That's it. But here with Kiwanis, we want you to serve the community, serve your fellow friends and family, nurture friendship and everything. Business will follow suit naturally, and that's the best way to do business. We're down to about 10 minutes ish. So I want to go back to, for those who may not know, the objectives of Kiwanis. Is that all right? We just kind of skip back to that so I have them here in front of me. So the 6 permanent objectives of Kiwanis International were approved by Kiwanis Club delegates dating back to 1924, ironically, in Denver, Colorado. And I say ironically because this year's convention, July 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever that weekend is a big convention that a lot of things need to be discussed. And yes, it's over July 4th weekend, but what better place to celebrate July 4th than the place where you can be in the Mile High City for many reasons, but more importantly, be involved in the convention where some major decisions are going to be made. So here's number 1, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life, i.e. what I just talked about. Get in with the people, feel good with people, relationship building. To encourage the daily living of the golden rule in all human relationships. I wonder how many people know what the golden rule is. Just so happens Wikipedia has a hyperlink to that. The golden rule is the principle of treating others as one would want to be treated by them. It's sometimes called an ethics of reciprocity, meaning that you should reciprocate to others how you would like them to treat you. Number three,
And that is a golden rule that covers across all religions and across all social interactive groups. And so that's why it's so amazing that it is the golden rule.
Absolutely. To promote the adoption and application of higher social, business, and professional standards. To develop by precept and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship. To provide through Kiwanis clubs a practical means to form enduring friendships, render altruistic service, and to build better communities. And lastly, to cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism which make possible the increases of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill. Those are the 6 objects that Kiwanis International and its clubs are operating under.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it just means that when you wear that K and you see that K, no matter where you are, we all share those 6 values.
Absolutely.
And each one of our communities is unique. What our communities need, what our kiddos need are unique, but those 6 precepts around the world are the same.
Kathy Zamansky says in the chat room, the only way to build relationships, business or personal, is to follow the golden rule. There's no reason we all can't just get along and follow this great reminder. Well said, Kathy. Thank you very much for your thoughts on that. Let's go a minute or minute and a half, Val, on why Denver. Then do we have anything else for Val on the road that you want to share?
We do.
And then we'll wrap it up with, as always, making Val laugh hysterically and Andy's enjoyment for the week, bad dad jokes. So talk about why Denver.
You know, this conference is going to probably be the most pivotal convention that we've had. Most clubs, when they join Kiwanis and become a part of the family, don't realize that part of our bylaws are that a club attends the international convention every other year. They don't have to attend each year, but every other year you're going to be part of it. And this year we are setting the groundwork for where Kiwanis is headed. We're going to be talking about dues. And I know many people don't like to talk about dues, but it is so important for us to raise our dues to be able to provide all the services that we provide. With Kiwanis International Foundation is focusing in on our Kiwanis clubs and the service. We've focused outward for the past 2 initiatives. And this year we're going to talk about that focus inward and taking care of each other in our clubs around the world, where there are some places in parts of North America where they can't fundraise like we do in California. And they can't imagine being able to raise $45,000 to support a children's hospital. But, you know, in Palo Alto, we can raise that kind of money in 3 weeks and get it to Kiwanis clubs that really need it, where the kiddos need it the most. And so these are the things that we'll be talking about in Denver. We'll also be talking about where we're headed overall as an organization and what the true value is for Kiwanis. And so you really want to be there.
Absolutely. And then international, a month or so later, is in Hawaii. Is that correct?
Our district convention for Kalniva. Eat your heart out, everybody. Yep. And if you're a Kiwanian, you can actually register and come to Kona, Hawaii. And not only will we have our own luau's and those kind of fun things, but we're going to be having a great time and celebrating the growth of Kiwanis here, and also having an educational session that I think will outshine other educational sessions that we've had before. Plus, you get to meet John Brummer. And I you know, it's like I already heard through the grapevine. You know, I was Swiss cheese, but John Brummer. Spotlight time.
He's signing autographs now. He won't be able to get his head in the airplane door now. That's the problem. And then next year's international will be in Pittsburgh. And where I will be living here in about a month and a half. That's not too far from me. So my plan is to come up for international for Pittsburgh, where I hope to see all my Kalniva friends out there, at least at that time. All right. Are you ready for Val on the road? You ready for Val on the road? All right, let's hit it. Start.
pink car. Oh my goodness. I wanted to share with you that the big focus for May, I have two big focuses, and so that's what's keeping me traveling. And the first one is all the graduations that are happening. Right now, it's a time for celebration. It's the 5-year-old that's graduating from K Kids and moving up into first grade and wearing their cap and gowns. It's our builders clubs moving from 5th grade to 6th grade and going into middle school. It's our high schoolers who've worked so hard. And for some of them, this is the end of their educational road where we celebrate them. And so Kiwanis International has a number of resources that you can order a bunch of caps and gowns and have little kids take pictures of themselves, and have a high school student put a cap on a 5-year-old that's getting ready to walk across a little stage. And it shows that continuity and support of what can be for them. And it's also our long-term Kiwanians that they didn't get a chance to finish high school because they were in a war. And so being able to give them an honorary degree for all of their service, that's a real focus for me. So I'm going to be all over the place. You're going to see me on Facebook with pictures and handing out stuff. Actually, I brought someone up and was part of her graduation ceremony yesterday at CSU Monterey Bay. She graduated in 2020 with her MBA. She's first generation. Andrea, love you. She had never stepped on campus because of COVID.
Wow.
And so she brought her 3 kids, her mom and her husband, and we introduced her to the dean. She got to take pictures in her cap and gown on campus. And that was one of the most meaningful things. And so the other one is that May is Mental Health Month. And Mother's Day is one of those times where mental health is at its lowest. So if you know somebody out there that needs a call, reach out to them. My phone line is going to be burning up. I'm going to be driving out to Phoenix to celebrate with my grandma and my mom. And so even if a person isn't a mom of a human child, they're a mom to somebody.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting you bring that note up, and be 24 years this upcoming November when I lost my mom. And I'll just say this, that her birthday's in February, but Mother's Day for me tends to be more of an issue to get through than her birthday. So I got to be honest, I do buckle my belt and hold on very tight when it comes to Mother's Day for me. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Like I said earlier, if you're a father and as a mother who's a mother, somebody in your life who acts like a mother for you for whatever the reason, not that we should honor them on just one day of the year. They should be honored every day of the year, because I would give my right arm, I would give my Hall of Fame induction, I would give my name and everything to have my mom back on this earth, to be with me, to still be part of this life. Anyway, with that, before I get all weepy-eyed, it's that time, the unveiling of the new intro for Andy. I hope you're watching, dude, because I haven't seen it yet. We're going to watch it all together. Here it comes. That was bad dad joke. Say goosebumps here. That is so perfect. That is so perfect. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I can top that. I don't know if I want to top that. All right, but here we go. I promised Andy some jokes. Andy, I want your input on what you thought of that intro by John. All right, here you go. Number 1. What type of bears what did we get one? What did we say? Who was that? Sorry, Maritza, tune into last week's show for the explanation. No, I'm only kidding. That was a TikToker who really told some very funny bad dad jokes. My wife actually sent that to me. It's also on the Kiwanis Connects Facebook page as well. I shared it there. All right. What type of bear is toothless? A gummy bear. Gummy bear.
Gummy bears.
What cars do eggs drive? A Volkswagen. Just read them. Don't kill the messenger, folks. Is Mama laughing in the background, at least, Doc Val?
Yes, right. She's definitely laughing in the back.
Good. I got 2 generations of laughter. That's very good. Why didn't the skeleton go on the roller coaster? because it didn't have the guts. I have to admit it. Even I got a good chuckle from John on that one. Mama Flo's dying back there. I hear her in the background there. God, I've got 2 generations of laughter from that household. What did the cereal bring to the bank? Checks, of course. Check, cereal, bank. Last one, thankfully. You know what? Maybe after this is over, rerun the intro to get all that laughter again.
I know.
Last but not least, in honor of John getting a new vehicle this week, what cars do sheep drive? Lamborghinis.
Intro again. And with that,
I just
that's a great way to end the show.
the little clip like she's got a bad taste in her mouth is so funny. But I love the one when she's laughing so loud, like her mouth is so open because she's trying to catch her breath. I just said to John, we need to clip that so after every joke I tell, I can at least get that laughter in there real quickly. But all right, if nothing else, we brought a little laughter at the end as we always do, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to share some laughter that way with everybody that watches. Why you watch listen to those stupid jokes, I don't really care, because sometimes the simplest things in life should make us laugh. So there you have it. All right. Val,
Are you calling me simple?
if the shoe fits. Anyway, so we're at the end of the line here. So Val, final thoughts, please.
My final thoughts are that Kiwanis has become my family. And when you're reaching out there and you really want to be a part of something special, I hope that you consider being a part of Kiwanis at whatever stage in your life there is. Because if you can give just a little bit, you make a huge difference in many people's lives. So happy Mother's Day to all the amazing women out there and men out there that serve as moms. Love you.
You know, I always say that you don't know when somebody's down what they need to brighten their day. And literally a smile, a wink of the eye, acknowledging that person is all sometimes that person needs. And so seriously, anybody who watches our show and stays tuned for bad dad jokes, if it has brought a smile to your face at a time that you need something to just laugh out loud with in the privacy of your own home, your car, the bathroom, in your office, wherever, then quite frankly, in a very, very small way, Kiwanis has done everything we're supposed to do to help our fellow man. Keep that in mind when you listen to my bad dad jokes. With that, Val said it. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. We will return next week with a fresh show, fresh new batch of jokes, by the way. Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. See you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects. Thank everybody for watching.
My brother